So we're going to move this up a little.
Yes, we are. See, it's like the voice of the people have spoken, Mike. And when we do those little promos, it's nice. This is live television, as if you can't tell. Who'd script this, right? But based on the popularity and just giving that brief little preview, we're to give you a very limited run, very limited quantity. Little look now, right?
Yeah, well, we're going to count this one down.
Okay,
so
there you go.
This is the final, you and I get to share the final presentation.
Sounds good.
Absolutely spectacular. So we've talked about the American Silver Eagle. And we've talked about the fact that they are changing the design of the American Silver Eagle in 2021. So it has made it more immensely popular than any other Silver Eagle in the history of the United States Mint. We had the Mint State coin, the NGC Mint State coin. What did we just sell? 800 coins just like that, okay? Yeah. We sold hundreds of ANACS coins. We've sold thousands of this. Today's special first day of issue that we had, 12,299. That's gone. I literally, the Mint State 70 American Silver Eagle, the Mint State 70 American Silver Eagle, I never got to sell in 2020. We sold 12,299 in the last day of 2019.
True.
So there are no first. So once this sells out, this will be the only proof West Point minted American Silver Eagle, proof Silver Eagle, out of 3,196. And once that sells out, that's it. Now, the 216 that you saw left there. Yeah. That is out of the entire edition. That's not for this show or this visit or this whatever. Period. That's period. That's all that exists on the planet. Now I want to talk about this because this coin, I mean, it's the same thing. I know. So hey, Mike, I do have to let everybody know, this was supposed to end this hour. That's the other reason they moved it up. So again, I know there's a lot of information and I do not interrupt Mike lightly because I learned from him just like you learned from him. But when something is going to sell out without the time that we have allotted for it, meaning it's going to sell out early, I like to get that out of the way just for those of you who are smart and you know the deal and you know the drill. And I think we might, and I have a few NGCs left, but let's get everybody the last chance on this one. Okay, there you go. So we have several things here. So first of all, you have the last in the line of the American Silver Eagles. You have them in proof. So this is the West Point Mint. You have first day of issue. The first day of issue Mint State coin completely sold out. Right. I have 200 basically left out of this. 3,000 sold. Now on top of this, so the very last American Silver Eagle in the heraldic design, based on the U.S. Mint saying they're changing the design in 2021, is the very first year that we've done a colorized core on the ANACS coins. Traditionally, that's just clear plastic. Right. We started with a colorized core in the American Silver Eagle in the flag core NGC. So started a revolution. That's exclusive to Mike, and I apologize, I have to interject again. Please do. You do see a clock at the bottom of your screen. My producer, and again, he sees all, he knows all. He's giving himself credit for horrible clock management because he assures me that this will be gone in this area. This will not only be gone in this show, in all likelihood, it does appear now it will be gone before that clock expires. So use that information. Just to be safe. Just to be safe. Just to be safe. Because understand, there's a lot of people on the phone, I'm sure. Yes. But they could be ordering anything. Well, that is also true. They could be ordering anything. Right. That we've had in the show. There's no doubt about it. I think they're probably, by looking at the numbers, they're probably ordering this. But understand what this opportunity is. This first day of it, so you said, as you said, the ANACS colorized core is exclusive to us. Well, ANACS first day of issue is also exclusive to us. That's true. So you can only get ANACS first day of issue here at HSN as well. So you have first day of issue 100% exclusive. The brand new core, which we brought out for the very last year of the old style American Silver Eagle that you have. So you have the old core or the new core. You've got the last of the coin. You've got first day of issue. And the other thing that I like about the ANACS is the coins are individually numbered. So when we do NGC, we can say, you know, the population, you go online, you look at the population 2,000 or 2,200 or whatever it is. But in ANACS, it says right on the coin, this is coin number 5. Someone will get coin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Someone will get coin 3,196. Every one of those coins is individually numbered to ensure its place within the limited edition. You know exactly where you stand. on that, which I absolutely positively
cool.
love. First day of issue is exclusive to us. Absolutely perfect is what you're going to have. Now add in the fact that this is this incredible last year of issue. I have 12 dozen of the last year of issue of the American Silver Eagle with the heraldic design. Like I said, the United States government just doesn't change the designs of American Silver Eagles of any coin, let alone the American Silver Eagle, the most popularly collected silver coin in the world today. Why would they change it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But they decided to try. It's what they do. And the fact of the matter is, it's really, really, really exciting. And so when you look at this from a standpoint of the government, if you look at this at a standpoint of a collectability of this, in my lifetime, this is my only discernible skill. Okay, is numismatics, selling coins and collecting coins. Shannon's just cracking up. I have really no other skills. This is what I do. So I've found the perfect job for me. Is ultimately what it comes down to. In my entire career, in my entire life, I will get to sell one design change of the American Silver Eagle.
It's pretty amazing.
I will get to sell this because they waited 35 years to do this, and by law, they have to wait 25 more years before they even consider another change. So when I say literally once in a lifetime, I mean quite literally once in a lifetime. That is a huge deal. It is a sea change. It's cataclysmic, and it is a transition coin. It's a legacy coin that you must, and it's in its rarest format, which is proof, which is about 50 times rarer than the mint state.
So out of the 2 hours that I have with Mike, it's his last show for the month. He's not back until well into the month of February. This is another one of the, it's a coin to collect.
Yes.
It's a coin to get.
We've had a lot of those.
But with what, Rick, about 150, 160, give or take? Oh, sorry.
So we're under 100 now.
Had a little vocal change there. I mean,
well, we got 30 seconds left, basically. So you have 30 seconds to make your decision, get online, and hope. And hope you can you can get there. HSN.com, great way to get there.
It is, and remember, there are always coins here that we don't have time to present. But so, Rick, this $40 off would apply on that apply and buy, right?
Oh my!
Yeah, I know. I knew that would get you.
Oh my!
So that $40 off, that apply and buy would work, and there's so many reasons to get that HSN card. I mean, this is great for a great. That almost pays for that first flex pay when you think about it.
Oh, it does. It does. Just about.
It's pretty doggone close. But what we've got is what we've got, and this will be your final look. It will be your final presentation. So you're going to see that sold out banner go up. That means you secured it. Don't hang up.
Yes,
so
please don't hang up.
Do not hang up.
Please don't hang up.
Do not hang up. That means you got yours.